So, hello everybody. Welcome to our Kickstarter mini review, which we do on a regular basis, more or less weekly, pretty much weekly. And this is edition number 17, and it's a super special one because Metropia, our own game, has just launched on Kickstarter a couple of days ago. So that will be part of this broadcast. I'm going to extend it a little bit to show you a few things, like we'll even show you a peek onto our dashboard so you can see what Kickstarter looks like from the other side. But we have some other great games which are launching and have launched. There's pretty amazing, actually. There's some really great stuff on Kickstarter right now. So we're going to cover Planet Unknown, Castle Wolfenstein, Kodama Forest, Ankh, of course, and then Sanctuary, the Keeper's Era. And then at the end, we'll talk about Metropia itself and give you that sneak peek of the dashboard. So onward, we're going to start talking about Planet Unknown first. So this is really a pretty impressive game. I really like the way that it's put together. It's a planet building game. Every player has their own planet to build. There is a space station in orbit that provides you with the resources, and you actually rotate the space station as you play. And that rotation gives access to different players to different tiles to lay at a specific time. So you have to think about not only what you need, but what you're accidentally going to give to the other players. As you can see, all these components which are on this floating space station here. It's already funded, has really met its goal, and this is a really kind of novel way to distribute things. Really like this idea. And there's really quite a nice story behind it as well. You're essentially trying to build the resources of the planet, make it better and greener. And if you see on the other side of the player boards, then you'll also see a green planet. So this is really interesting. Great new kind of mechanic for distributing pieces and resources throughout the game. The next one is a blast from the past, made modern. So this is Castle Wolfenstein. If you remember, if you're old enough, then back in the 90s, this is one of the first-person shooter games ever. It was just incredible in terms of graphics for the time. Now it looks pretty dated, but it was really pretty impressive. Lots of people played it to death. You could modify the levels with a mod editor, and that created all sorts of crazy offshoots. In this game, you're essentially playing it as a dungeon crawler. You can go through, create things, move along, use action points. Everything costs you a bit of time to dive in and actually kill the enemies that are in here. It's already funded as well, unsurprisingly. It's a licensed game. The possible challenge with this one is the base pledge for a game is already $120, so that's pretty high. And if you want all the 3D plastic terrain elements, then it's actually even more. It's $229, so that's pretty sizable investment. On the other hand, pretty big blast from the past that you might enjoy checking out. Moving on, we will move on to Kodama Forest. So amongst all the big gun projects out there, this is really, really cool. It's got amazing little artwork in it. And the idea is that you're curating a forest. The interesting strategic mechanic in here is that you actually play on two teams at the same time. So you play with the player on your left and the player on your right to actually try to cover over scores on the board with the resources that you find. So you can see there's actually two players going on at the same time. And that resolves during the game, so you can win either way. And it's very nice. Looks like really nicely done artwork and so on. You're actually also creating matches between the tiles, and then also certain resources use certain types of animals basically animals. So there was a butterfly, then we have a frog, and we have a panda and things like that. So really, really nice artwork and a great game. A little bit different from the big dungeon crawler type crazy games that have been launching recently. The next game is Sanctuary, the Keeper's Era. This is a pretty big game. If you like trailer videos, this one is really impressive. So it's a really well done trailer video. Explains how the game works and the story behind it. What you're trying to do is protect the world, essentially, and the sanctuaries are what the keepers have unlocked, and each of the sanctuaries has different powers to help bring the world to a better place and protect it. The artwork and graphics look really phenomenal, as does the box. If you look down here, you can see the box unveiling, which is really impressive. So there's clearly some great design that has gone into this and made it really impressive. And this actually has a much more reasonable Kickstarter price, so you can come and check this out. There's obviously some other bundles which give you a lot of other things. Quite a few stretch goals have already been unlocked because the project has been around a while, but you can still grab this, and if it's the kind of game that you like, then go for it. It's a bit hard to go through this week without actually mentioning the big gorilla of the game that launched, which is Ankh. Ankh has been trailered for a long time. Again, it has a really, really phenomenal entry video. It's great to see the story. Some of the video has been around for a while, but there's a little bit of an extension. And essentially what you're doing is you're trying to grow your following in Egypt as a god. And those gods then compete with each other, and only one of them can survive. So you're trying to increase your following by doing miracles or creating shrines to yourself and building up your followers. Not a super novel idea, but I think it really is brought home by the fact that you have these amazing miniatures that were created. It's quite typical of a CMON game, a CMON game. And obviously you can paint them as well. The miniatures come unpainted, but it's really, really, really impressive. It's also quite expensive out of the gate, so you'll need to warm up your pocketbooks for this one, but does have all these miniatures, quite a lot of stretch goals unlocked already as it's going, and some of these are also Kickstarter exclusives. So really well done game and campaign. It's already raised over $1 million. Next, we come to Metropia, which is our game. It's been amazing, the journey that we've been on to get here, and so great to actually be able to show it to people today. And it launched on Thursday. Amazingly, we're already at nearly $9,000, so quite close to the goal. And it's been just very humbling to see all the support that we've gotten. We have quite a long time to go in the campaign, but obviously we'd like to get to the goal as soon as possible so we can start unlocking stretch goals. So thank you for all the help that we've received. This game is a combination of an area control game and thematic overlay that goes over it. So you can see the pieces coming down here. It's really a way of making the ancient game of Go that you may be familiar with into a multiplayer game. Which is quite difficult to do, but it creates a really interesting mechanic underneath. The board changes every time you play, and you also have a deck of cards that controls where you can move, as well as giving you some special moves at certain times. And those special moves can really change the game in certain times and make it quite interesting from a surprises point of view. There are lots of modes for the game. You can make the board bigger or smaller depending on how many players you have. You can essentially, there's several game modes that you can mix in or decide to leave out, so if you want more or less randomness. And yes, we're really pleased to have this here already, and we've had some great comments. We're making the game better as we go. There are quite a few stretch goals to unlock, so if you scroll down the page, you can see how the game works, lots of gameplay photos that we've done in the past. There are rule books, and it's also really great. We've managed to get a Tabletop Simulator version of the game out, so you can play it while you're in quarantine and actually test it out. If we get enough subscribers, we'll be able to automate it more. Right now, you still have to manually set up quite a lot of the tiles, but the plan is to automate that if we can get enough subscribers. So that's a big goal, and that's for free. So you do need a Tabletop Simulator version to play it, but the game itself is free. We hope to add a Tabletopia version as well, which will be completely free to play. So if you look down, there are all the pledges, but I just wanted to get to the stretch goals. So these really will enhance the game quite significantly. We've tested all of the different modes, and we're looking forward to adding these into the game. So thank you again to everybody who's pledged already. It's been a great journey, and we are going to enjoy the rest of the campaign, I'm sure, and be adding a lot more. Your feedback is super, super welcome. I will just show you the sneak peek of the dashboard. So if you've never seen a Kickstarter project before, then this is what the dashboard looks afterwards. You can edit the project. There's all sorts of edit modes that you can do, which I won't go into right now. Obviously, you can post updates, which is important to tell people what's going on. I'm just going to refresh the dashboard, something that we've been manically doing over the last couple of weeks to see what's happening. And so you can see we're making a lot of progress. And you get this graph, which shows you what's happening. So we had a great first day, and we keep growing each day. So that's really, really spectacular. It tells you where the folks come from that have clicked, which is also really interesting. You can create custom referral tags. There's information on the video, and this is also quite interesting, the rewards that we have. And so these tell you the pledge levels that people have. So it's amazing to us that so many people have pledged for the Founders Edition. So it's great to see. And this is the Premium Edition and the Base Edition. But all the levels will give you great gameplay, but obviously they get a little bit enhanced, and maybe this graph will change over time. We also have a really amazing benefactor level, which we're humbled to see a whole bunch of people have pledged to. So really, really great. When you go down, you also see all the pledges from people, and obviously we can interact with people by message and so on. So we're doing our best to work this properly, and keep following the channel for updates on progress. And we look forward to seeing you here again next week. Thank you very much.